So this film nearly didn't happen. Yesterday I was in London and a single snowflake fell on the UK, and when that happens, everything kind of goes to shit, excuse my French. So it's taken me 14 hours to get back home to Edinburgh. In fact, the camera crew beat me here. But nothing will dampen my spirits when it's piano day. And piano day means I get to talk about my favourite thing, the piano, which is just this crazy, amazingly complicated piece of machinery that has, second to the human voice, become the thing, certainly in the Western world, that we respond the most to. This is a piano that I've been in love with for many years now, about 10 years. It's a Schimmel. It's actually a junior piano, so it's kind of like a school piano, a C114 Modern Junior. And if you listen to it, kind of pleasant, but for me it has a slightly two-dimensional quality. It doesn't have the richness you get out of maybe more expensive pianos. But the reason I fell in love with it is because of the Celeste pedal, which, if you press that down, this bit of felt comes down. Have a listen to this. Quite a nut sound, isn't it? So, almost like a choral quality. Certainly for me, it was love at first listen. And I've used this on countless TV dramas, including all of the Poirots that I did. And in fact, we sampled it for the Gwilym Sincock felt piano at Spitfire. And it's where these two worlds combine that I have a real interest. The sampling world, which is kind of an adventure I've been on for 30 odd years now, and also the piano. Because what sampling enables us to do is to take these anywhere. And I think this is something that we don't talk about enough with sampling, is that yes, it can enable you to play instruments you wouldn't usually be able to play, or large orchestras. Yes, it can be a source of inspiration, but actually it's also a writing tool. So for me, to be able to take this source of inspiration wherever I go is a kind of truly romantic notion. But there is something I want to show you in the main house. So this is the new love of my life, a Steinway Model A, which is kind of an unusual choice for me because I've never really been a Steinway fan. They tend to sound a bit bright for me. But this one has a real mellow quality, and I think it's something to do with its history. It was in a show home and never played for 9 years, and I think it kind of mellowed with age. So it's in this beautiful room, which is a great inspiration because it looks over Holyrood Park, and it's got a great acoustic. When we took on the house, there was a beautiful old playall here, but it's unfortunately unplayable. It had kind of died. It was about 200 years old. I did sample it before it kind of went to the knacker's yard. So, because I'm completely obsessed with felting, I thought I'd kind of step up to the plate for Piano Day and have a go at felting this Model A. So I needed to employ some nice craft felt. I'm always fascinated by, I think there was a scientist who once said that felt would be the most impossible thing to explain to an alien, and some pipe cleaners and some ribbon. So basically the problem with, as I showed you on the Schimmel, you've got this kind of space where you can put the felt between the hammers and the strings. But with this, the hammers go up. So you've basically got to get the felt underneath the strings. And the nightmare about a grand piano is the strings themselves block you from putting anything between themselves and the hammers. So basically, what I needed to do was create a pull cord. So by feeding the pipe cleaner, which has a kind of flexible but rigid quality to it, I was able to feed that underneath the strings, pull it through with the ribbon, and then I gaffer taped the ribbon to a strip of felt and pulled that back through, and I've used some gaffer tape to kind of secure it. And as always when I felt pianos, I really enjoy the fact that not only does it create this kind of choral tone, but also you kind of rebalance the sound of the hammers with the strings, so you can really hear the inner workings. And I don't know, what I love about the piano is it's a bit of a kind of Victorian piece of mad machinery. So let's have a listen to it with the felt on. So it's got a really nice tone to it. I always use, I think that the most masterful composer of piano music and the godfather of minimalism is Erik Satie. So I always like to test the felts out with a bit of Erik Satie. So I thought for Piano Day, it would be great fun to create a sample instrument of this so I can take it on the road wherever I go and share it with you guys. And there's some very specific logistical difficulties of sampling here. One is basically the tree out there has an owl that lives in it. So between the hours of darkness and about 2 o'clock in the morning, this owl is just caning it all night. And then round the back garden is a cockerel that starts crowing incessantly at 5 o'clock in the morning. So the window of opportunity to sample this puppy is just 2 hours. So when you felt a piano, it gives it this beautiful mellow quality that I think we all like, and it's ideal for drama. However, what I've found over the years is when you put a felt piano against something that has a lot of atmos or a lot of dialogue, it tends to sound almost kind of muffled and very difficult to mix. So I thought I'd try an experiment, and that would be to sample the brightest possible quality of the piano. And how I did that was actually played each string with my fingernails. I'm going to go back to the studio to see if by blending the two, you can have the beautiful choral quality of the felt piano alongside maybe just a little bit of focus. I used to be a child actor, and I did a film when I was 5 years old and was paid a sum of money. And I wasn't allowed to touch that money until I was 14. And when I was 14, I bought my first sampler. So this has been a long odyssey for me. But I have to say, I still get really excited the first time I play a new instrument that I've created. So let's have a listen to the Steinway Model A with the felt on. Oh, that's gorgeous, very exciting. So the way I approached it, and the way I approach sampling all the time these days, is to not necessarily think about versatility. I think about what I want to use it for, what I want it to sound like. And that enables me, when I'm playing each and every note, to shape the tone. And with pianos, just like any other instruments, there are definite sweet spots. There's a touch. So basically, each note I go through, try and make them as different as possible. And somewhat a signature for me is always a fingernail on D5. And just a single dynamic layer, quiet, and no round robins, and just I went through it twice, once with the pedal up, once with the pedal down for resonance. Then I did a series of quite accentuated release triggers, which again add to the reality. Let's try that fingernail experiment. So I'm just going to dial it up, just literally a few dB, just a smidgen of that sample layered in with the felt. Interesting, almost like a dulcimer-like quality. But I think another thing that's worth trying is to take the fingernailed piano down by an octave, so down 12 cents, and layer that with the felt. Again, just a smidgen. Again, really interesting, almost getting into the realms of inventing a musical instrument. And again, why I find sampling so exciting. So many people ask me, I want to get into media composition. What libraries would you recommend me buying? And I always just say, just buy a microphone and make samples of your own. Even if you haven't yet developed a harmonic or melodic language of your own, if you sample your own sounds, those will be unique to you. And I think that's an exciting opportunity. I myself, this year, I did a triple felt on my Schimmel, just done the Model A, and also sampled the Pleyel, which I've bundled all together in a single download package for you within this piece. So we'd really like to hear what experiments you come up with sample-wise, whether it be your old nan's piano or like a dodgy old Wurlitzer that you found in the back of the garage. Please send them in. We'd love to hear what you do, the unique sounds that you come up with. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you again next time.